All right. Hey, guys.
Hey, how's
What's up?
Yeah, we're live now. I'm Dee from Florida Paranormal Investigators.
And I'm Bill.
And we got Bill. He's also Florida Paranormal Investigators. We got special guest Chris from Jersey.
What's up? What's going on? Everything looks like it's
Honestly,
running smooth. Like it's
it?
pretty cool. Yeah.
Thank God. This is like the first time I think a live stream is like, a knock on wood, I'm going to jinx myself, is running.
Don't jinx it.
Yeah,
I know. So I'm not.
That intro was insane. That was a pretty good intro.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was all D there.
Yeah.
Hey, Justin. How's it going, buddy?
Yeah. Hey, Justin.
What's going on?
Yeah.
So what's up? What's up? What have you been up to?
Me, well, adjusting to Florida. I've been here for a year. Bill, you're not a Florida native, right?
No, I think total I've lived here for about 4 or 5 years. So
okay.
The heat is the worst part. Well, it's the humidity, I guess, mainly.
I'm not used to it's supposed to be fall time, and I'm like, I haven't even put out my Halloween decor because I'm like, it's still really warm, you know.
Yep. So it's starting to get cold here. It's raining.
It's starting to get cold there.
Yeah. Yep. The rain's kicking in. It's just starting to get miserable out.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's the favorite type of year, you know, that spooky season. Yeah. You know,
and it's also our busy season for sure.
It is. It's because everybody sees the paranormal TV shows coming out. Everybody sees everything and they want to do it.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to, you know?
Yeah.
But
so tell us what you've been up to since I actually used to investigate with Chris. We used to network with a ton of other teams in Jersey. I met my husband, Mikey, through Chris. So technically you're like my uncle-in-law.
I'm like your step uncle. But that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's been a while, man. I was actually going over some footage. Actually, when you wanted some footage for this podcast, I was going over some of the footage. The first time you guys ever met, and I was going to get ready to send that over to you. It was right at that speakeasy, that first day when you crashed your car, and
yes, I crashed my car the first time I met them. I did not care.
Yeah, that was funny. Yeah, I was actually going over that footage the other day. I'm like, let me send that over. I was getting ready to send it over to you. I haven't got a chance to yet, obviously, but
that investigation was the one that actually messed up my lungs real bad.
Oh, yeah.
I ended up inhaling a lot of black mold. So after that, my lungs have not been the same. And trying to explain to a doctor what I was doing that caused this was hilarious.
So I was ghost hunting and, see what happened was.
Yeah, exactly. And she just was like, don't do that again. I'm like, no, I'm going to. And so she's like, wear a mask. I'm like, all right.
That's funny. No, that's good. That's definitely good, but not good that your lungs are messed up. But the investigation was definitely interesting and fun.
I've learned my lesson. I try to be more careful and carry an inhaler.
Start carrying a mask around.
Yes, that too.
Especially for those basements.
Well, luckily, Bill, we haven't got to any place where we needed to require, mask treatment or inhalers yet. So that's been good.
Not yet.
Yeah, Florida.
Soon.
See, Florida's it's got to be a whole nother beast of investigating though, because of the weather and the way the actual structures, houses just there, are actually
Florida
built.
Alone, and the craziness that it's definitely stuck to its reputation for sure. You need to come down. By the way,
I'm gonna have to soon. It's definitely my bucket list, and I'm actually looking to do maybe a couple investigations, maybe hook up with a couple paranormal investigators in Puerto Rico and try to go down there and do some stuff basically where I grew up, But yeah, so let's start with you. What have you been up to? That's what I like doing. I like going on people's podcasts and asking them reversing.
We're supposed to be asking you.
Yeah, you're the guest guy. What the heck?
No, you totally turned this around.
This is what I do.
This is Chris's podcast now.
Yes.
Yeah.
So how's your
podcast? He is
day
now
going?
let's see, settling in Florida. We've, just started with Florida Paranormal Investigators, and I think we've been booming, like between resident, like starting, I've never, especially in Jersey, never had so many residential cases in my life come in, which I'm totally grateful for, but some of them are really crazy that it's taken us a whole new direction, have us look at investigating in a whole new perspective. I decided to start studying UFOlogy. I passed MUFON. I'm a former MUFON investigator, only because I guess I'm not good at complying and
Wait.
it's complicated, but let's just say I felt like I was going behind instead of moving forward with the amount of knowledge I already had with like photo analyst, like analyzing and video analysis. There was too much bumping heads. So that's why I decided to now do UFOlogy as an independent rather than be part of an organization. Mind you, I still keep in touch with one of the directors. So, anytime I need her, she has no problem helping me out on cases. So that's
awesome, though.
Yeah.
So it seems like you've been
this podcast,
seems like you've been keeping yourself busy there.
Trying to keep ourselves busy. We're gonna start a docuseries too. I know you have yours coming out, which looks amazing. I saw the trailer. I'm gonna actually pop it on to later.
Yes,
we want to see. So
it's definitely an interesting place. Definitely interesting location. Starting with that, I pretty much grew up there, as you can tell. I mean, when you first met Mikey and you guys started going up over that area.
Yeah.
It's just I don't want to give too much of it, but there's just so many twists and turns to this docuseries, which is insane. We go there thinking it was one thing.
Your docuseries almost reminds me of like the plot line of Poltergeist, where like they built on like this Indian burial ground, and instead of like one family having poltergeist activity, it's like the whole neighborhood.
Yeah, and the cool part about it is that, I mean, obviously it's still a mystery because we still haven't figured out what's there. We're leaning obviously more towards what just mentioned, but it's not as of sure yet. So, I mean, it's something that I definitely want to keep looking into. Something, I mean, obviously it's close to heart because, I mean, I not only did I grow up there, but I was also, my old, what you call stomping grounds. That's where I came from. So it's something near and dear that I want to keep trying to figure out, not only for myself, but also the people that live there that are still currently till this day still having activity.
Yeah. How did you come across this situation with this neighborhood?
So, back in the day, I used to firefight in the area. I was a firefighter in that area for about 7 years. I actually had one of the fire chief at the time reach out to me and say, "Hey, listen, I have this girl that, just bought a house in this place. It's a pretty tough chick. She doesn't really get scared that easy. And she's telling me that she has all sorts of stuff happening at her house." And it pretty much started off as a residential case. I went there to investigate, did a preliminary investigation myself and Sean Austin. And one of my old team members, I was a part of his team, Mike Fody, it was so we went there and pretty much had all sorts of stuff happen. I mean, you'll see it in the docuseries. It's just so many things happening in this place that it's just so much to wrap around your head. I'll tell you this cool story though. I went there to do some drone work and some drone shots, and I had one of my other drones with me, and I'm flying it around. And I've only seen this happen in one other place, and that was on that actually the what was that TV show with Skinwalker Ranch, where they fly the drones and they end up doing all sorts of crazy stuff.
Yes. Yeah. I watch that all the time.
So I finally finished doing all the drone work that I needed to do. And this drone flying back to me did some crazy stuff that I'd never seen a drone do before. I mean, you've known me for a while. I've been flying drone for probably 4 or 5 years now.
Yeah.
And this thing literally struck something invisible in the sky. Like there was nothing there. There was no cables, no lines. Everything's under, like all the electric lines, everything's ran underground. there should be no reason that maybe at 250 to 300 feet up in the air, it strikes anything. There wasn't any birds around because I was doing like closer, like the, like dust shots as it's getting dusk out. And it just struck something. Just literally just started spinning out of the sky, out of control, and just flat landed right onto the ground, which was insane. I've never seen a drone do that a day in my life.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, but it's just one of those unexplained things that happen in this place. It's just another puzzle to this mystery, per se. And we have some pretty cool news about this docuseries coming up. I'll save that for last. Like, we'll do that at the end of the show.
Okay.
As I was literally about to get on the podcast, I ended up getting the dates, the release dates, and pretty much the follow-up for it. So we can talk about that at the end.
Do we make the official release dates announcement here?
You guys will be the first people to know the first release date for this docuseries.
All right.
So,
I like it.
Awesome.
Yeah. So those of you guys that are watching, make sure you send a thumbs up, follow, do whatever you want to do. But you guys will be the first. But I mean, as far as that, I mean, I've been investigating, going literally all over the place. I just went to, like I said, this past couple weekends. Actually, last weekend, I was in Virginia. I'm sorry, 2 weekends ago, I was in Virginia. The two locations there, one of which has never been investigated before. It was a cool place. It was called it's a funny name though. Don't laugh. All right, it's called the Blue Ball Inn. All right,
Blue Ball.
But they're in the process of restoring this location that dates back to, I believe, 1747, if I'm not mistaken. And it's just crazy active from the minute we went there. The weirdest thing happened there. For those of you guys that watched my live while I was live on TikTok, we had this crazy, just kind of moth looking thing just flying around right in front of us. And you can see it on the live. You see it flying around right next to the owner of the property who was doing the interview at the time. And out of nowhere, this thing just disappears. And I happened to look down while it was flying around it on the floor. And there was 4 pennies, 2 heads up, 2 tails up. And they're all different scattered dates. However, the creepiest part is that this moth that was flying around it, we found it right near the pennies after we picked the pennies up, and it looked like it's been dead for decades. It was dried out. It was insane. I've never seen anything like that. It was cool, but I mean, we definitely had some crazy activity. I mean, we had people walking up on the second floor. You can hear it downstairs. The actual floors are actually shaking from the footsteps that you're able to hear upstairs.
Oh, wow.
But like I said, I mean, I've been kind of busy just going different places. I mean, we're working on 2 other projects right now that should be getting put out sometime here in the future.
Oh, so you're working on more documentaries coming out, or?
Yes. Yeah. So there'd be 2 part of it. I mean, and that's one of the things, I mean, I always give thanks to Sean, Sean and Billy for actually bringing me on and helping me out, or, kind of mentoring me and to become a better investigator than what I, was before. But like I said, in this field, there's always room to learn. I mean, you don't know everything. Anybody who
I always say, for people who go, mind you, that there's been people in the field for 20 years, but if you don't continue your education, it's all those years of experience to me means nothing. Because this is an evolving field. If you're not continuing your education and learning all the aspects of the tech, the new advances in technology, all the new advances in technology, all the things in science that are coming out regarding even our own molecules and atoms and everything, and energy, I feel so many different things go into this field, and you should always keep trying to learn instead of just being nope, been here, done this, I know how to do this way.
Yeah, nothing stays the same.
You can't get stuck in your ways in this field.
Yeah, no, and that's my thing. I mean, you have a lot of, it's kind of sad to see, but there's a lot of people in this field that always say, I'm an expert at this, expert at that. And in reality, there's really no expert.
There is none.
One person knows or has their own itch on how to investigate, on what to do, and then another person has something different.
Yeah, and
It may-
no one's
it may-
wrong either. Both approaches could be
excuse me.
can help and be correct. So
Yeah, I mean, and they both work for that certain person. Every person has their own certain way of investigating, you know. And at the end of the day, like that's just how you investigate. That's the way it works for you. Then let me try it and see if it works. If it doesn't work, move on. Try something else. You know, it's not about like you're wrong. You're doing that wrong. You're doing this wrong. You know, I mean that's just how
like me. Our team uses the Gansfeld, like the modified Gansfeld, a lot. I'm still like working on it. I'm actually changing the whole setup of it soon. So I'm like,
I still don't
it's
understand how it
constantly
works.
evolving. Like if you saw how like my setup was from the beginning up until like now, and now I'm like, I'm trying to make everything more portable, more like better. So we'll
yeah,
see.
and like I said, I mean, you always take that first idea and you start making it better, and as you make it better, the smaller it'll get. I mean, I've always been a true believer in just going to investigate and using your body as, you know, your tool, you know, to investigate.
Yeah.
Just
But talking
use
about
it.
tools, I know you also build your own equipment too.
Yes, yeah, I built a couple stuff here and there, you know, nothing too crazy, but I mean, you guys will see some videos of the backwards box and how it works, and it's something that I'm still working on. It's not perfected, but the amount of responses that I've been getting through it, with the ability to actually have something that's not supposed to work the way it's working work.
Yeah,
it's insane. Cool. Like it blows your mind, you know, like you're thinking about it, like how are these words coming out of this backwards box when everything going in it is supposed to be coming out of reverse, not as straight words, you know. Right. It just blows my mind till this day. And like I said, I mean, we've had some, like, actually I was just using it at Cabin 360, which is one of the locations I went to in Virginia a couple weekends ago with Sean. And right away, as soon as I held my finger up and I said, you know, how many fingers am I holding up? And I usually try to start the session like that to make sure we have some kind of intelligent response that's coming through the box, you know. And as soon as I asked the question and I said, on 3, tell me the amount of fingers I'm holding up, and I counted. As soon as I said 3, immediately it came through saying 5. And I was literally holding 5 fingers up, which was pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then the other crazy thing with that is, like, certain places just, it doesn't work for communication, like, at all. Like Waverly, I just took it to Waverly. I couldn't get anything out of it. It was completely malfunctioning. Like, it just wasn't working the way I know that box works, you know.
Yeah, I hate when tech doesn't work. It's supposed to. It's the most aggravating. Like, you test it, you get all the batteries in, you know, make sure it's supposed to work. Then you get to the site and it's like,
nope. No, thank you.
And that's why I say always have a backup plan, you know, because I mean, a lot of times it might not even be your tech malfunction. It might be just something there not wanting to communicate or having you use it, you know.
Yeah. I always take it as my tech malfunctioning, and then I spend a whole like time trying to fix it.
And then you go back home and it starts working just fine again.
Yeah. And I'm like, of course you would work now.
Every time.
Yeah.
Actually, so Chris built us a Boo Bear, and we had it. And it's funny because I was like, I don't know if this thing is really working, because it didn't do anything like the whole night. You know, nothing was really interacting. And then what was it? It was like 5 a.m. or something. We had already stored all our equipment away, and like I just put the bear on top of like the case. Like everything was off, like all the cameras. We were in bed. Everything shut down. Tell me how that thing started going off.
So I'll tell you, with that Boo Bear that I made you guys, actually made it harder for it to actually go off, so it doesn't go off as easy.
Well, yeah, it doesn't. Like, you have to like really like kind of like
there's
and like
it has to have the actual like electromagnetic energy like interference with it, like actually like having it, setting it off, and so it's not like just by waving your hand or whatever the case may be makes this go off. It's just like the actual touches that, you know, something actually touches. It was pretty
cool because it also coincided with like Mikey had picked up, I think, like a lavender or floral scent when it happened in the room, and then the bear went off at like 5 a.m.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, especially like when you know, like, you built something and it's supposed to work the way you intend it to work. You know what I mean? I'm always like, I don't know, I guess excited to see something work that not only did you built, but also is not going to go off as easy, and like once it does go off, is something actually interacting with it and not just malfunctions. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
But I always think that's cool, especially
it's been pretty cool. We still have to take out your the sweet box you sent us, and test that out. So
is that the one you guys showed me the other day?
Yeah, and the vintage radio kind of thing. Yeah, we gotta test that out next.
Yeah, so I tested that out for about a year. I got some crazy responses.
Yeah, you did.
So what it does, it actually scans through radio frequencies at a random. So it's not only scanning FM frequencies, it's scanning AM, FM, and it's not going per like every frequency going up is actually just random, like checking different frequencies at once. And whatever decides to want to interact with it, interact, and you'll get some cool responses out of it.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm excited to try that one next.
Then one of those knobs actually has the reverb, so it actually you can add and take away the reverb. So if you wanted to like just repeat it a couple more times, add the reverb and actually repeat it, almost like.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll probably have to like hit you up to give me more details on how to work it and how it works.
No, it's definitely cool. Like I said, I mean, this backwards box that I have is buddy of mine, Tim Dalton. You know Tim. He's the one that actually showed me how to build it. And we've just been testing out different spirit boxes with it to see what works the best. And right now we're using the old school like DR60 spirit box.
Okay.
They're like
What's your favorite equipment?
Honestly, old school, man. Just going in with the camera and a recorder. Yeah. that's the best way to go.
Out of all the gadgets that come out, I feel like you always revert back to like camera and your recorder. You know. Yep. What about you, Bill?
For me, I think the spirit box, but I like to think of paranormal investigating kind of like camping in a way, because it's like when you start out camping, all you have is like a tent and a sleeping bag. Then you buy all this equipment, and then you just at the end of it, you just back down to the tent and sleeping bag, and that's really all you need.
Yeah. You know? Like if I showed you the amount, like you saw my case, it's like a stand-up case this tall with different like almost like storage containers, like stacked one on top of another, and they like lock in.
Now you have like the
I literally had to buy another one, so it's like 4 things stacked up with like other equipment on top, and I'm like, oh my god, like I have a problem but
that's funny. Yeah, so do you have like the old school DeWalt toolboxes? Is what they're not old school, but the newer toolboxes.
It's in the Walmart toolbox section.
Yeah,
that's where I got it.
Listen, that's the best way.
I was like, I could use that for my equipment.
Has the little wheels you pull with it?
Yes, it has wheels.
Yes, yeah, that's the best way to go. But see, like I mean, especially now with travel, like going all over all these places that I've been going to.
Yeah,
it's kind of hard to bring a lot of stuff with you. So like I literally just brought it down to the cell phone. The same cell phone I have, and I got a couple more cell phones. Right now, I'm trying to actually convert one of the cell phones into night vision so I can use for TikTok when I go live, which,
nice.
Fingers crossed, I'm hoping that would work.
I know you'll get
it. Yeah, I'm just scared to take the 22 apart and mess with it and try to get that. You know what I mean?
That's the one thing you have to take apart the phone and pray that.
I might just start off with an old school. Okay. Start off with an old iPhone and just work my way up and see how that works.
Yeah.
But I mean, like I said, I mean, there's been a couple other locations I've been to that just been insane. Actually, when I went to Kentucky to Waverly, we stayed at this hotel, which you guys saw when I was in Waverly. A buddy of mine, Chris Hammond, he's got a TikTok channel too, Haunted Hammy. We're both investigating on the second floor, man. And we got this crazy. Well, actually, he got this crazy shadow figure.
Yep. You want me to I can pull up the clip? I think I have it.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to pull that up, that'd be cool. So play that first, and then we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
All right, let me. You put me on the spot. Hold on.
You put yourself on the spot.
I did, didn't I?
That's one of those. We'll be right back.
Yeah. Hold on. Got it. Okay. I'm like, hold on. I definitely did have it ready to go. Oh, you know what? No, I had the other clip. We have a couple of clips we're going to show. Here it is. So let me pull this one up. Oh, nope, don't start yet.
Replay.
Okay. All right. Ready? I'm going to show add to stage. All right. And then this is the clip, right?
Yeah. So you guys look at that corner. You see.
Yep. I'll replay
you
it.
might be able to slow,
it happens really quick.
You might be able to slow it down a bit. Yeah.
Oh, I see it there. Yeah.
Hold on. Let me see if I can slow speed. Half. All right. It's right there.
And there wasn't anybody else standing there?
No, so the funny part is we're both on TikTok Live. He's standing right next to me. I have my phone set up on a tripod, shooting down the hallway on the second floor at Waverly for those of you guys that have been there. And we're pretty far from that exit sign. That's actually zoomed in a little more so you can see it better. We're pretty far from the exit sign. I had a buddy of mine who's never really investigated before and wanted to go to this place with us, so we brought him with us. And while we were live, right underneath the exit sign, we kept seeing a shadow figure walk across, walk back, walk across, and walk back. So my buddy ended up walking towards it, goes down towards the end of the hallway, says, nope, I don't like this feeling, starts walking back, comes back, passes us. As soon as he passes us, this figure appears out of the corner, looks at him, and then goes back in and disappears into the wall.
That's a good
capture.
Which floor was that?
That was the second floor, right where the
second. Okay. We caught when I went to Waverly. Mind you, we need to do like a team group outing to Waverly. But when we went to Waverly, the third floor, like that hallway on the third floor where it's like the open windows and stuff, and then the rooms on the one side, we caught something walking right across the camera, like down the hall, and like still can't explain it to this day. It's crazy. It's great. That place is phenomenal.
It's cool, but it's one of those places that I feel like you get more captures once you get home and you start reviewing your evidence. Like while you're there, at least while we were there wasn't really that much stuff happening. I'm like, man, this place is like awesome. It looks cool, but I haven't felt anything. I haven't seen anything. And then I was already annoyed because the backwards box wasn't working. And I'm like, man, what else can go wrong? Like, what else can go wrong here? But
you know what? I had the opposite. I felt like I experienced more. Mind you, we caught that cool apparition thing.
Yeah.
I think I experienced more there than what all the evidence that we went through.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like we had more personal experiences.
Yeah, this is more of a visual place too, from my understanding. There's a lot of pictures of different shadow figures. Yeah, a lot of
shadow figures.
Actually, last night on my feed, somebody's picture popped up where they actually caught the little boy on the second floor looking out over like the balcony area, like like when you're on the second floor and you have the open windows and you come up towards like the center part of Waverly. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
I have no idea.
kind of where I took that picture that you have on your that you posted up, the black and red picture.
Yeah.
Like right in that same area is where somebody actually captured a kid looking over the edge, like onto the parking lot side. Which is kind of in the same area where we got the shadow figure. But that was my buddy Chris. Chris, that's his thing. He captured that. And I just thought it was cool. I talked to him last night. I said, listen, I'm going on this podcast. Remember that video you sent me? I said, I'll throw your name out there and, we'll get that thing out there because it's just an amazing capture. Like, you don't see stuff like that every day.
Yeah.
But just check him out. Chris, Haunted Hammy. He's pretty cool dude.
Hammy. No, that was an awesome find and a good eye because, especially with evidence review, you really got to be focused and count because it's like the smallest, littlest thing. Like it's usually far in the background. I'm like, something's happening back there.
And it's a split second, you can miss it.
Yeah.
Yes. And then the crazy part about that is that both of our phones were side by side. His phone captures it, mine doesn't, which is even more mind-boggling. We're both facing the same direction.
That makes it way more interesting.
Yeah, which is neat. Because as soon as he showed me that, I'm like, oh, of course. What's the timestamp? I want to go back on mine, look at it, and see. Nope, don't have it. I have everything else. Have everything else but that.
Yeah. Like I know you sent a few more clips. Should we start reviewing some of those?
Yeah, man, if you want.
Let me see. I like this one. Hold on. I'm gonna pull it up. This one.
So you're working on other documentaries while she's pulling that up here?
Yeah.
What are the locations still in Jersey or?
So these are still kind of new. Like they already been filmed and everything, but they're both in New York. I can at least say that. One of which kind of, it's one of which is just, it's crazy. Like the activity there, it's just insane. But I don't want to give out too much because they're still working on that, and you know how that goes. But yeah, I mean those are two other projects that I worked on with with Sean and Billy and Eric Connor from Up in Paranormal. But those two locations, I mean, one of which Haiti, you and I have been to, which I really can't say the name right now.
Okay. But I've been to it.
You've been to it, yes.
All right.
But
so what's the story behind this clip that I'm about to show?
Oh, this one here. This one's cool too. This one is St. Albans Sanatorium in Virginia. This place, for those of you guys that haven't gone there, this I recommend it. It's one of those places that you just have activity nonstop from the minute you walk in to the minute you walk out. If you don't know how to get in or get out, you're done. You're lost. you belong to the sanatorium. There's literally just one way in and one way out. Every other doors are outside. Exterior doors are closed. You can't get in through them.
Okay.
But this right here, we had this place for 36 hours. It was a 36-hour investigation, and I think this was on night 2. Me and my buddy's kid were up on the second floor of this building, which is kind of hard to explain because of the layout of the building. But we're over by one of the actual opening windows that actually gives you the view of the parking lot.
Okay.
And we were just hanging out. I brought my backpack. I was trying to do some EVP session. We kept feeling something walking again from left to right, kept feeling movement all around us. So I set my backpack down, set the GoPro down. This was the GoPro that was turned into night vision.
Yeah.
Set it down, and I think I started what app was it? It was EchoVox. I turned the EchoVox on. I think I was setting it up and working through the settings when this happened. When you look at this video, actually, I'll let you watch the video first, and then we'll talk about it after.
Yeah, I'll play the clip. It's going to play twice. And that one was slowed down.
Now, one of the things here, like when this first happened, if you see the kid that was with me, he looks over and he's like, dude, like your backpack just moved. I mean, if you have I don't know if the audio will play on there, but you can hear him saying, dude, your backpack just moved. And I'm like, oh, maybe like the stuff inside the backpack kind of moved around and maybe caused the backpack actually fall over. I tried recreating this for a good 20 minutes, and I started watching the video and replaying the video. If you're looking at the video, you can actually see the backpack strap being pulled from the side. So the first thing to move is not the top or the bottom of the backpack or the front of the backpack.
Yeah.
If it would have been the content inside of the backpack that would have caused it to move, you can see the actual content actually shifting inside the backpack, causing it to push over and fall over.
Yeah.
But that's not the case here. If you look at it closely, you can see.
Yeah, I'm going to play it again.
Yeah, you can see the strap. The strap actually gets pulled from the bottom, not the top, and it causes the backpack to fall. Which is insane. Like there's no way. Crazy. There's no way that can happen. I'm not moving. He's moving, but he's kind of far from me. The angle that he's sitting at right there looks a little closer than what he really was, but he's pretty good distance away. It's just one of those things you can't recreate. You can't get to happen again.
Yeah.
You know, it's unexplained. I mean, something's being moved by something you can't see.
Yeah, it's pretty cool because it's like you see that strap kind of like get pulled to the side first, and then the whole bag like kind of topples over it.
Yeah, and I analyzed that video a whole bunch of times, try looking over it. I'm like, there had to be some in the backpack maybe it moved. I even set the backpack next to the chair. I tried getting to happen again. It just wasn't happening. And I couldn't explain it. And then watching it a little closer, I see the strap actually being pulled before anything else moving, which is pretty cool.
That's awesome.
That's pretty awesome.
It's a good capture.
So did anything else happen that night?
We had all sorts of stuff happen. There's like shadow figures that you can see there visually. You'll feel like people walking all around you. You actually hear audible like voices like around you and talking, and like little whispers. And that's actually one of the places that I think actually one of the first places that I started getting Spanish communication coming through the spirit box, like actual spirit talking Spanish. Yeah, it was pretty cool. I'm like, oh, how does he know I talk Spanish? But I don't think it was talking to me. I think it was just talking in general. But it was kind of cool.
That's pretty cool. I haven't come across one that speaks like, well, like a normal other language.
Yeah, I've had it happen 3 times now with Spanish. I had it happen over at Eglinton.
Do you think it's because they know like you're Puerto Rican and you can understand them that you're getting more of the Hispanic responses?
I don't know, to be honest with you. That's like the first. I mean, that's like I said, it's 1 out of 3 times that I think this happened since I've been investigating. Well, it's kind of cool because I can understand it, and it's like, oh, like that's Spanish. That's definitely Spanish. So it makes me wonder how many other times do we hear all this gibberish coming through the spirit box? And it's probably some other language.
It could just be a whole other language that we're just not picking up or understanding.
Yeah, exactly. But I just thought it was cool.
Yeah, here I have another clip he sent me. Pull that up.
While you're pulling that up, St. Albans is definitely like, I don't know if you guys watched that show with what was it, Amy? I forget the what was it, the Paranormal with Steve DeChavez and what was it? I forget the name of it. I'm drawing a blank here. Amy, not Amy Allen. Is it Amy Allen? Yes, Amy Allen. You know what I'm talking about or no?
Dead Files?
No.
Dead Files, yes.
Dead Files,
So
yeah. Well, now they have the new medium.
Yes.
On this new season. Sydney Casa. Or
Cindy.
Sorry.
Cindy.
I don't watch the shows too much, but I try. Oh, look, we got Mikey.
Hey, it's Mikey.
There he is.
He's supposed to be sitting in on the podcast, but he was on.
I was a little late. I was at work, and then got caught up in the Freemason stuff. So
free money. Free money.
Almost.
Yeah. But this is actually one of the locations that Amy actually ended up walking out of. She couldn't really.
Oh, she walked out this one?
Yeah. Yeah, it's St. Albans.
What location can you say, or is it part of the docuseries?
No. This is I'm talking about the that location with the backpack, where the backpack.
Oh, with the backpack. Oh,
yeah, that's one of the places. Yeah, that's one of the places that she actually walked out. I think out of all the episodes she's been on, that's the only place she's ever walked out of an investigation.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. That place is insane and it's fun.
What about this place, the Cabin on 360? Is that
Cabin on 360? Yeah, that's from a couple weeks ago. That's the one that we went to. But I was telling you, the box was working in certain areas, and then other areas just wouldn't work. Like there'd be nothing coming through, or it would just go insane, like just making all sorts of crazy noises. But this was pretty cool. You can play that one. I don't know if this is what I sent you 2 different ones. I don't know which one this is. Let me see.
Let me see.
Oh.
Oh, you know what? I'm so silly. I have it muted. Like, where's the audio on this? Sorry, guys. Yeah. Here we go. You do hear it say what the So what'd you do to piss it off?
Got to be something.
Listen,
is the real question.
Listen, from the minute I set that backwards box on that table, it was like diarrhea in the mouth. Like it was just nonstop talking and saying all kinds of different stuff coming through. There was just all sorts.
Okay.
I could have sent you a clip of 30 minutes of just nothing but stuff coming through that backwards box. And what's cool, like I explained before, the backwards box, the way it works is it pretty much takes the frequencies of the radio that you have plugged into it and is reversing it. And it's actually playing it in reverse. So therefore you can't understand what's coming out of the speaker. If you do hear a word or anything coming out of it, there's no explanation for it. There should be absolutely no explanation for it. It's just complete spirit manipulation, manipulating it into actual words. We were getting some clear responses that night out of there.
Like
we moved to a different. Yeah, that's one of many.
So what I hear, you had the reputation of getting like the worst responses.
I did a place with Ron and Lourdes and their experiment that they do. And
Staticom.
I had that thing was insane with the responses. It was just direct responses towards me, and it was just nuts, like just cussing, saying all sorts of stuff. Well, I don't know why. I mean, I'm nice and respectful when I go to these places. I'm not,
because they know the real you. But like you can't hide.
Nice and respectful isn't the word for you.
Well, see what happened was.
Sure.
But yeah, it's definitely one. I don't know. It was definitely one of those cool places where like you're getting so many responses. This is actually the same place that I got the response of 5, which is I held 5 fingers up.
Is this one the same?
No,
place?
This is actually was it the Madison? No, not Madison Seminary. This one's the hotel. The the hotel with the Ouija board on top of it.
I don't know of a hotel with a Ouija board on top of it.
I want to know about a hotel with the Ouija
I
board on top of
know.
it.
It's they also have the largest like planchettes.
So yeah, this actually has like one of the largest Ouija board on the rooftop of the actual hotel. So it's called the Grand Midway Hotel.
Okay.
It's in Pennsylvania. I spent a night there actually, and
all the floors. Crescent? Is it Crescent?
No, not Crescent. This is the Grand Midway is what it's called. So this is sitting in the seance room at the Grand Midway. There was 8 of us in the room. Everybody had just pretty much finished investigating for the night, so we all kind of combined. And we went to the seance room, and started investigating. And like I said, I usually try to start out with, some kind of response or try to get a response that we actually know the answer to, such as how many people are in this room, living people are in this room, or how many fingers am I holding off, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
So this was one of those, So this was one of those things where, I asked how many people are in this room, like living people are in this room, and the response was exactly how many people were there.
Oh, so it was okay. So let me play this. See how many people are in the room.
All right, how many living humans are in this room?
Wow. Okay. I'm gonna play it one more time. Let's see. Oops.
All right, how many living humans are in this room?
8. Wow. So there were 8 people?
There was 8 people there in that room at that time, yes. Which is pretty cool, I think.
Yeah, it's exact, and it came out clear. Like you can clearly hear it say 8. So
yeah. 80 Kelly says hi.
Hi.
Let me see.
Hey Kelly.
Let me see. Gail, welcome. Gail's awesome. She's also like one of my TikTok followers, and obviously you guys know who Kelly is.
Yeah. Kelly, I miss you.
But like I said, I mean, for those of you guys that are just tuning in, if you guys are watching, we are going to have the actual schedule for the docuseries coming out here first tonight.
Yeah. Yes.
Yep.
Whatever.
I have one more evidence clip. This one is a photo. And it's a pretty cool photo.
Oh yes. This was
the
my
one
favorite.
that you sent me.
Yeah, this was
You
my
sent
favorite.
me two.
One's clearer than the
Let me
other.
see.
Actually, I was trying to look for the video. Remember?
Yeah,
like,
I'll just pull up the
so
clear
this
one.
Yeah, so this happened the first. Remember, the second time that I went there was with you, Mikey, and Cassandra. Who went to Penhurst.
Okay.
Remember
Yep.
the first time I went there, all my video disappeared from my camera, and it came back the same night that you, me, Mikey, and Cassandra walked in the building. It all just kind of came right back into the camera, which is insane. I've had that happen a couple other times, but all the video disappeared. I have 2 Canon handheld cameras that are night vision cameras that I usually take to record additional videos with. And I came back home after doing my first investigation at Penhurst. All the video was gone. Couldn't access it, couldn't see it, couldn't get any sorts of video. SD cards are reading empty. I walked back in there a second time, which was almost like 6 months later. After doing several other investigations with the same cameras and bringing the video back. And as soon as we walked into the Mayflower building, all the video comes right back into the camera. There's still some videos that are still missing, but for the most part, the entire investigation for that night was there.
Gail is from Florida too. Florida represent.
Yeah, that's insane. That it just all. How would that even work? Like how? I can't even think about that.
It's one of those things, man. It's just unexplainable. Like you just can't explain. It just happens. And the only way of knowing is just by experiencing it. When you tell people, it's like, yeah, how did that happen? No idea. It just happened.
It just happened. just what happened.
It's
one of those like you had to be there.
Yeah.
For it. And I think when we went to this place, I don't know if you felt like it felt like whatever was there was trying to separate us the entire night. Like I would hear something one direction, he would hear something another direction, and like we all would start splitting out. I'm like, no, wait, this doesn't feel right. I was like, why are we splitting up? We've all watched horror movies. This is how this begins. Like
exactly how it begins.
But you know what's funny? It's like we go towards the noise instead of like running away from it. It's like we were each going in different directions.
Let's not go that far. I ran away a couple times.
Well, no, that night me and Cassandra did run.
You did.
Run, and I tripped and fell on a cord in the tunnel.
Listen, I wasn't gonna say all that, but sure.
Leave
it to hating.
Listen, I've ran a couple of times. There's actually Melissa can tell you. We did an investigation at West Virginia State Penitentiary. We had so many cool activity. Like it's one of the places where I actually got to see a guard walk out of a guard shack with a flashlight in his hand and the flashlight still working, like still operating. And I'm so at all watching this with the camera on my thigh that I'm not even paying attention to record the thing. We're watching this happen. Thankfully, Kelly Miller was there. Kelly actually grabbed her phone she was recording and she actually turned towards it and actually caught it on her phone. You see the flashlight.
So you all saw this.
We all watched this happen in front of us. So we were both investigating in 2 different areas. And me and Sean were actually getting a female talking through the spirit box. And I said, listen, when you start, I said, if there is a female here with us, can you scream at the top of your lung so that way we can hear you? So those specific words, scream at the top of your lung. As soon as I said that, we hear Kelly Miller all the way on the other end of the actual, the hall we were investigating. I mean, you guys went to a prison, the older prisons, the penitentiaries before. They have separate landings of cells. Mm-hmm. So you can see all the way down to the first floor from each landing. Yeah. So me and Sean on the second landing, she's on the first floor, where the initial cells and showers are at. So she comes out of nowhere and says, hey, are you guys investigating that? And we're like, yeah, we're investigating. She said, we just heard a female scream out of the top of her lungs, which is the same exact words that I specifically used to this spirit that we were communicating through the spirit box to do. So we both kind of just walk. I was on the second floor. She's on the first floor. I walk towards her. She walks towards me. We meet past the guard shack and we hear this metal cell closing. So I happened to look up towards the guard shack, and I was like, "Yo, are you watching this?" And literally, you watching a silhouette of what appeared to be a guard walk out with a flashlight in his hand, do an about face, and then walk right back into the actual shack and just disappeared. And she got it on video. I think she still has that video. It's the coolest thing I think I've ever seen, like in person.
That's crazy.
But that goes along.
Is that what caused you to run?
No. So a little bit after that, we're walking towards the cafeteria area. We all get split up. It's pitch black. We can't see anything in there. There's no lights. I'm going by what I can see on a night vision camera. Me, Melissa, Sean, and I think like 4 other people. Me, Melissa, and a couple other people started hearing voices coming out of the infirmary area. So as there was like a Y on the actual like hallway. So Sean and the other group starts walking towards the cafeteria. We somehow split up and ended up following the voices over towards the infirmary area. So once again, it's pitch black. Can't see anything in there. We get up to like a little like hump on the actual like floor. And the voices stop. So I stop. I'm listening and trying to pay attention to see if I can hear anything else. And I feel like this breathy voice right next to me go, "Hey." And as soon as it says, I think it said it was like, "Hey, you," or something like that. As soon as I hear that, it was like this loud metal like cell door just slamming shut as hard as you can slam metal, like iron metal. And I ran, pushed Melissa out of the way, threw her to the ground, hopped over her. I was gone. I was out. After I get out to where we initially split up, I'm like, "Oh crap! I left Melissa behind." So I run back, come get her. It's her favorite story of all time. She tells everybody. But
Wait,
it was one of those times.
Serious question though: are you able to stay awake for a full investigation? Tell me how almost every investigation you will find this man in the corner, passed out, snore, and mind you, he snores so loud.
Actually, I got a good one for you. When we did this other project we're working on, Sean was making fun of me because he said, "Man, I've never seen somebody sleep while standing up and holding a camera a day in my life."
You can sleep anywhere. It amazes me.
He said, "How do you do that?" So I don't know, man. It just happens.
I couldn't do it. So what would? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, go. I'm actually going to try to. I think I have a picture of him sleeping in the middle of investigation. So you guys talk about it.
What would you say, I guess, is like the scariest thing you've ever seen investigating? Like,
scariest?
Yeah, like
visual, visual or like mind's eye or whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
The craziest thing I think I've seen was St. Albans. St. Albans was a pretty cool one. It wasn't just me. It was 3 other people that actually watched this happen. We watched this like non-human like figure of we were in what they call the suicide room or suicide bathroom in St. Albans. And there is actual like little cutout, almost like it goes right into like a crawl space / like attic area. And it's open. Like there's nothing in that crawl space. It's pitch black in there. I look over towards the crawl space. We see these 2 like almost like yellow eyes just like staring at us from the crawl space.
Oh, wow.
So the more I stared at it, the more it became and formed itself into. The best way to describe it is like a little like gargoyle figure just standing off the corner of it, staring at us, like almost like, I wouldn't say alien-like, but it was alien-like. it was non-human entity. It was definitely non-human. It's something I think I've never seen till this day in any other investigation. And there was 3 of us that actually watched this happen right in front of our eyes. I'm like, "Yo, like, are you seeing that?" I'm like, "Yeah." And then we ended up talking about it afterwards. Like, saw this. I was like, "It's the same thing I saw, same thing you saw." There's 3 of us that completely witnessed this thing just like staring at us from that crawl space area.
That's pretty
But once again, St. Albans, man. St. Albans is just one of those places that just, to me, it's every time that I've gone there, I've done 2 36-hour investigations there, and it never ceases to amaze me. There's always all sorts of new stuff happening or something happening. Actually, we had something happen before we even went there at the house here on our way there, which was even adds more to the story of St. Albans. But yeah, I mean, that's to me, that's probably the craziest one I think I've seen.
Okay. So it's probably more of like a cryptid than like a spirit.
Do you want me to show the?
Yeah, more like a cryptid or.
What are your views on like cryptid spirits and extraterrestrial? Do you think they can go hand in hand or?
I think it's all connected. I think Bigfoot, UFOs, paranormal stuff. It's all, to me, it's all connected to.
All right. We have a question. I have a quick question for all of you. For all of you, do you have any skeptics that watch your show? I can't say I know exactly who. I mean, this is our first live stream. If there's a skeptic watching, great.
Nice
I think each of us has a bit of skepticism. I know I do, well, especially as a tech and someone who does all the photo and video analysis, I have to be able to explain things away. So I think there should always be a healthy balance of belief and skepticism. But there is a skeptic that I always use for reference, like his material is Kenny Biddle. He has like great resources, especially when it comes to explaining like orbs and different things that show up in photos that have logical explanations. I literally have like files saved so I could send to clients, be like, hey, this is what's in your photo and this is an explanation. Like he does an awesome job at being able to give that logical explanation to some of the things that can occur, especially in photography and videography, I think.
Ladies and gentlemen, say hi to Kelly Hall. She is the #1 skeptic of this show.
If Kelly says she hears something, she legit hears something. She would never.
She is the #1 skeptic. Like there's no explanation for it ever. It's always like, nope, that's definitely not a ghost. That can be explained like this. This is that. Now, when she does say like, oh, what was that? Like I don't know what that is, and you're like, yes, I got her. I got her. I finally got something good.
We'll talk about skepticism. So I'm going to pull up the photo that you sent me, which I think is pretty crazy, and don't really have an explanation for what you explained to me. So here it is.
Yeah, no, this was cool. This is actually like one of my favorite ones, like visual /. So as you can see, that's my dirty feet from investigating that night. That what you see next to my feet is actually little kids' barefoot footprints. This is in Penhurst Sanatorium. We were it was kind of cool because we were investigating. I forget the name of the building, but while we were investigating, we started hearing what sounds to be almost like little kids giggling in the hallway where the steps are. These steps go down into the basement of I'm sorry, this is Penhurst. Did I say St. Albans?
You said Penhurst.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. In my mind, I'm thinking I said St. Albans. And Penhurst, the basement of the actual building we were in, it had just rained that night. There's about maybe like centimeter, maybe less than an inch of water in the basement. And the cool thing about it is we start hearing what sounds to be like little kids giggling. It almost sounds like they're coming up the steps. But the crazy part is that these steps back in the day were made with a metal mesh in the middle of it so people didn't jump over the steps or try to kill themselves like by doing that, especially when they had to deal with a lot of mental people that have like mental issues and a lower mental capacity than others. It sounded like almost like they had a tin can just rubbing it against this metal, like I guess you want to call it a fence or divider between the steps as they're running up the steps. So we ended up running to see where this voices and kids were coming from, because mind you, Penhurst is completely locked down. They lock it down for you. There's absolutely no kids there when you investigate, especially when you have it just to yourself. There's only a certain amount of people, and there's definitely not little kids with us investigating. So we run over to where we heard these voices coming from, and this is what we found. We found footsteps coming up the steps the same way where we believe we heard it. Excuse me. Literally right on the floor. What was cool, it was that it was wet footprints, and the only place that was wet was in the basement. Which that's
the first thing I noticed when you first showed me. I'm like, are those wet footprints? Like,
Yeah.
That struck me as odd.
The cool thing about this is that I didn't know at the time that Penhurst Asylum actually had kids that used to be in the asylum itself. Like parents who had children with, mental issues, they would not want them and they would leave them there, which is kind of sad to think about. But this is something they did back in the day. And we didn't realize that we were in the building where the kids were actually kept at the time. And that was a cool capture. You can't explain that. Like, I don't care how you try to explain it. There's just no explanation of why there's little kids' footprints in a place where there's no kids allowed, and coming right from the basement where it's wet.
I have one more really fascinating piece of evidence. Chris passed out in the middle of our investigation.
That's funny. Yeah, I was knocked out.
You were knocked out, snoring.
To my defense, I had gone. That was my 26 hour of no sleep that day because I had worked night shift. We drove after I got done night shift. I got done at 7. We drove all the way to PA where you guys were at, and then we went from there. Did the investigation overnight, and then at this point it's probably like 3 o'clock again in the morning. So it was a fun night.
It's always a
Bill
fun night.
Egan, who wanted to ask us to ask about his upcoming project called Skeptic Investigator. He wants to take skeptical people and throw them into haunted locations without giving them any information about the location itself. I'm airing my first pilot episode this Sunday. Awesome.
That'd be interesting.
Well, anyone
No,
follow Skeptic Investigators? That's a pretty cool concept.
Yeah.
That's definitely cool.
Yeah.
Seems interesting.
Where's it airing?
I maybe on Facebook. It's Skeptic Investigator. I think it's called Skeptic Investigators.
I'll look it up.
Yeah.
Piqued my interest.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm trying to see if there was any more. I know the last will be the trailer, right? See if I could pull that up. The trailer for the docu-series.
Oh, yes.
Which is amazing.
Oh, wow. It's been an hour already. That's crazy.
Yes, it's crazy. The hour went by it's crazy how fast the hour goes by.
Especially when you have people that can talk.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. No, but this is definitely, it's been fun. Yeah, let's watch this trailer and see what you guys think. I mean, I'm kind of excited for this too.
Hold on. Let me pull it. Did you send it to me?
Yeah. Let me see. If not, I can send it to you in a private chat real quick.
Yeah. I'm trying to find it. Oh wait, you did send it. Let me So where can everybody follow you and find you?
Obviously, I've been doing a lot of stuff on TikTok. So TikTok Live, United for the Unknown. Previously known as Teddy and Chris. That's the other thing too. We didn't talk about Teddy.
Oh yes, Teddy. Teddy. Talk about Teddy. Tell about your adventures with Teddy and Chris.
Yeah. So basically, when I started Teddy and Chris, it was mainly for me and my dog Teddy, Black German Shepherd, to go out and investigate different locations. We were going out, and obviously you can't train a dog to have different reactions to paranormal stuff or anything like that. So I like taking him out and just basically seeing his reactions to the locations we were investigating. And that got to be a little too much, obviously, like especially when you have like 8, 9 hour, 10-hour trips, 10-hour drives, especially having, a large dog with you, which was insane. But it's cool taking them out. It's cool taking them out like closer places. You know what I mean? Places that aren't too far away. So I feel bad for him. Actually,
has he reacted to like any activity like when you brought him places?
So we did an insane location. It was a private. Let me see. I'm gonna send you this link right now. We did this private place that Sean actually had the privilege of investigating. I had the privilege of investigating with him. It was an old dog pound where it was in Connecticut. It has history of the actual killing all of these animals that were at the pound and actually burying 3 buses on the property with the animals inside of it, with the animals' remains inside of it. And it was actually found. And long story short, this guy ended up buying the property. The buses are still buried on the property. And in addition to that, the pound where they used to keep the dogs is still there. So the guy gave us full access to this cool property. And I think he's looking to make it into like a dog park or something. And Teddy's reactions to where the dog pound used to be to where the dogs were was unexplainable. Like the people that actually watched live that night, it was insane. We were getting responses through the spirit box and through a couple different apps in response to Teddy, telling Teddy's trained in German, like German commands and everything. And it was actually responding on commands, like the commands that I use for him through the spirit box for Teddy, like telling him to stop and all this other stuff. And then at one point we ended up getting a full sentence out of it saying something about the tell the dog to stop or tell the animal to stop or something along those lines. But it was cool just to see the interaction between like, the spiritual world and the animal, which is
yeah. I think they have
that's one
heightened
thing. Like
senses
a lot
to
of our residentials have animals, and that's kind of one of the first questions we ask is like, oh, do they react to the activity happening in the home?
Yeah. You used to see when I had when we were at the old house and Trigger used to be around, and when you guys used to come over, you used to be able to see the reaction of them because the old house I used to live in was extremely like haunted, like it had all sorts of activity happening to it, and obviously Trigger would react to it, and it's just pretty cool. It's just pretty cool seeing the reaction from them and getting actual responses like EVPs pertaining to the actual like to your animal. Yeah, Gail said that was a crazy live. I think Gail watched that as well that night. That it was a cool place.
Jeremy says if a dog barked on the spirit box, I would become a believer.
We've had it happen, Jeremy. We've had it happen.
That's pretty cool.
We actually have.
Well, let's make it happen again.
Yeah.
Listen, I had out of these two other projects we're working on, I had something like follow me from one place to the other. Actually, all of us did. And it actually, not to give you too much, but actually changed my face on the live into like, I was moving the camera around. As I moved, like tilted the camera around and turned my face into like a pig's face, which is relatively to the other location we were at. And everything that we kept getting in response to this other location, which we know like there's nothing like that in it, were all related to pigs, serpents, all kinds of stuff. Just recently, I haven't been able to turn the backwards box on in the studio here without getting some sort of pig noises coming through, like the
That's
actual
so
like just like snorting sound of a pig. But it's all pertaining to that one location that we did. That's just insane.
That's weird because you don't usually. Yeah. I've never gotten an animal sound come through any of the devices.
I think I'll send you a clip later on and I'll show you. I think I have.
Yeah, I definitely want to hear that.
I try to record all of the backwards box session that I do as I'm testing it out, just in case I get some crazy responses. Obviously, it's proven pretty good so far.
Yeah. Oh, we got a good question. Justin asks, questions for each of you. How much weight do you give to your own personal feeling when observing something paranormal? From the spectrum of feelings only to instruments only. Thanks.
You can go first with that, and then we'll go down the line if you want. I'll go last.
Let's see. It's funny. I always, because I feel like when you first enter a place, you always kind of get the feel of the place. There's some places you walk in and you're like, you just kind of know, like you're not comfortable, like something's just off. And it could just be like the household is just crazy. It could be the living people even giving off that kind of vibe that you pick up. And but for me, I don't think I can go off my personal feelings and experiences alone. Like I always like feel I need justification with like the devices, or not even just devices, but like if I'm seeing something or if I'm experiencing something, for someone else to also be able to confirm that for me. So it wouldn't just have to be, but like for me, like with investigating, it's all about checks and balances. Like it's all like, you always want two things to kind of coincide with two or more things to coincide with what you're experiencing, whether that's your own feeling and then like a device going off or someone else confirming that they're experiencing the same thing as you. At least that's for me. So I think it kind of has to go hand in hand. Like I kind of try to find a balance of like my emotions and then like what tech or someone else might be experiencing as well.
Yeah, and similar to what you said, it's everybody has different levels of perception to it, and just like how much you can, or I guess how close you are to it. Like, because I know some people, they're really like mediums, for instance, are really close to it. They can walk into a place and know everything that happened there, and then some people, like me, I walk in and I can feel that there's energy there. I can't pinpoint what it is. And so for me specifically, I need the tools and the technology to help kind of make that distinction of what it is, or if it's just, nothing, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm not too perceptive of that. So I need the actual instruments to figure that out.
I'm the same way. So, I mean, a lot of times feelings also, like your initial feelings of walking into a property also sometimes can actually do and can be explained as maybe some sort of, electrical issue with the house, some additional EMF, different things that aren't grounded correctly in the household can cause that creepy feeling, that feeling of actually being watched, almost like that mass, I wouldn't say mass hysteria, but more of like that, like just being overly cautious of everything that's going on around you because you're feeling like you're being watched.
Yeah. Well, because certain people can be sensitive to EMF, and if you're walking into a place that's not, the wiring isn't grounded well, you're gonna feel off. You're gonna have experiences, but
right. And it kind of goes back to hand in hand to what you guys are saying. Use some kind of EMF detector, something to actually see the levels of the household at that time. See what your base levels are, what you're using. But there's always that level of skepticism that you want to be investigating with, because not everything is paranormal, especially in investigations. A lot of things can be explained. I mean, the way I do it, I like to try to have a logical explanation before I determine it to actually be something that's unexplainable.
Yeah. And I think like you were saying, base readings are the most important, because I've gone to places where the wiring is so off and there's such high extreme EMF, like to the point we didn't even want to plug in our equipment because we're like, it's going to mess our stuff up. And we wouldn't even be able to use our devices because everything was so high, to the point we were able to find the wire that was causing it. And it's like, we can't investigate until this is fixed. Yeah. And the reason why you're feeling this way or seeing these hallucinations all could be because you're sensitive to EMF. Even people who may not know they live under running water or a well, those actually can cause physical feelings where like you feel off, or you feel like a specific room is off or something like that.
You get the paranoia feeling.
Yes. So there's a lot of different, your gut feeling is good, but having your base readings and your equipment to help you determine what your gut feeling is important too.
And at the very least, I mean, at least have something that's going to either help you. Well, it's going to help you no matter what, because it'll show you whether or not it is something paranormal or if it is something that has to do with the house itself. As well as the different structures of the house. Older homes were built different. You would get that funhouse effect, that funhouse feeling. The way the floors are made, the type, whether the type of year it is, can all affect your feeling, can all affect the way you're feeling in this household because of how the house is actually changes and shifts, depending, on what year or what day of the year it is. But these are a lot of things that you want to take into consideration before actually investigating, because of that reason. I mean, not everything can, for the most part, be explained, and what can be explained is what we consider paranormal.
Yeah. That was a good question, though. That's awesome question, Justin.
Yeah. Thanks, Justin.
It's really good.
So we're here. We're going to officially show the official trailer for Darkness in Suburbia, which is a neighborhood in New Jersey. So let me
should we give the dates before we put it out, or should we leave
after?
Okay, we'll do. We'll leave that for after.
Yeah.
Okay.
So people feel the suspense.
Yes.
Here, hold on.
Alrighty.
Official trailer.
I don't hear any audio. There's no audio to it.
Do you have it muted?
I don't hear it on my end.
I don't either.
Can you hear us, Eddie?
Is she there?
Oh no, I think we lost her.
Potentially. While we're getting that figured out, like, can you give us any other details, like any background for this?
Yeah, so this is it's a pretty cool location. Like I said before, I was reached out by one of my old fire members that used to actually be in the fire department with me, who's actually the chief there now.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, was there no audio? Was there an issue?
Yeah, there was no audio whatsoever. We were saying 80, there's no audio.
Really? I can hear the audio from here, so that's why I was like, I wonder why it's not playing with audio.
So
I could hear it clear as day.
It started off at one house. We went to investigate this one house, and then while we're investigating this one house, everything just seemed to just kind of fall in place, and more to the story of that investigation started building days after we did the investigation, which actually made us kind of turn into what it is. And it's a good thing for Sean and Billy, because they're the ones that actually made all this happen, along with all the other investigators there. I have Shane Pittman from the Holzer Files. You have Eric Connor from Epic Paranormal on YouTube. Johnny Hickey, he's got a couple movies on Amazon. And then even, there's a couple other special guests that you guys will see on there. But this whole location just happened to be having activity. It's not just one location. And the cool part about it is that it's actually a newly built location. It's not something that's been built there for years. I believe this was actually just finished being built in 2020. And it's almost like every house there is constantly having this crazy activity, which at times is actual poltergeist activity, not just your normal, like, hey, listen, like, you're hearing things here, you're hearing things there, like, things actually being physically moved, manipulated. Like, it's just insane. Like the time that we spent there just filming and documenting everything that was happening was just probably one of the coolest. I want to say one of the cool experiences I've had for since I've been investigating.
Nice.
But it's
I'm gonna try this one more time. I'm gonna try. Maybe it's because my mic and stuff is on, and I'm gonna mute myself and then try to do here.
I thought you muted yourself because we couldn't hear you.
Oh no, I was just trying to hear us. I can hear you.
Okay.
All right. Tell me if this. I'm gonna mute myself right now, but tell me if you can hear.
Not working.
It's weird. It's not muted or turned down on the.
No, I hear it loud and clear on my end. It's so odd.
I don't know. Every other video played too.
Yeah.
I know. Is it you know what? I downloaded all the other videos and played it on my video player. This one is coming from YouTube, so I'm not sure if that's an issue or.
Are you able to download the video at all or no?
Let me see if I can. I don't think I can download it. Oh wait, lied. I lied. No, I need premium.
Yeah, you gotta have premium.
But for those of you guys that want to watch the video, I think Katie will put the link here on the.
Yeah, I'll put the link. I'll put the link.
And it's just like I said. I mean, it's one of those cool like locations that the more you watch, the more you get, basically mentally attached to the actual case. You'll start wanting to know more and more. And that's kind of where we're at. Yeah, for those of you guys that want to watch it with the audio is there.
I don't know what happened. You know what? We were doing so well throughout our whole first podcast. I'm like, this is going smooth.
You jinxed
it.
You jinxed it.
I jinxed it. That's what I did.
How's it going, Josh?
But yeah, like I said, I mean, those of you guys that want to watch it, it actually, let's see, it will be. You guys ready? Drum roll?
Yes. When is it airing?
All right. So the first episode is coming out on Thursday, October 5th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on scarenetwork.tv. That's the first episode free. That same day, all 7 episodes will be released to whoever is a subscriber to the Scare Network TV or to the Scare Network app, as we call it. Mm-hmm. So all 7 episodes will be released on October 5th for paid members, The first episode is free. Then after that, every week from the 5th, there would be a new episode being released. And there's 7 episodes altogether.
There's 7? Okay.
7 altogether. It'll be released per week for the free version of the app.
Does the Scare Network have like a referral code that you have or anything like that?
I do not know. No, this is all Scare Network initially was all paid. It was a paid subscription. And it's just now, the reason it's taking a little bit longer is because everything's being switched over towards like a free platform, kind of like Tubi TV and all that. That's what's been taking this a little bit longer. But now that this is actually going to be released, we obviously have the dates. I was given the okay to give you guys the date. And you guys are basically the first people to know the actual schedule for this release, which is cool. I'm excited for it.
That is awesome. October 5th, first episode free.
Yes, make sure you watch his Darkness in Suburbia. And you can watch
I'm still trying to find a way to get this on.
You can watch the trailer.
I'll post it on our Facebook and share it a ton so everyone could watch it.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I mean, I had the opportunity to thanks to Sean and thanks to Billy for actually, allowing me to be a part of it. But I actually had the opportunity to actually work with some amazing and great investigators in the field, like, Shane Pittman, you got Josh Purvis, Shane himself, Eric, and just many more. Like, I mean, there's just it's an insane amount of like people that were so invested into this story and actually like seeing this through that we pretty much, as of right now, we still have questions that need to be answered, and we'll see where that goes.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So we definitely went over our hour mark.
Wow, almost absolutely an hour and a half.
Okay, it's like an hour and a half. I think that's a good time. Sometimes an hour flies by way too fast.
Yeah, sometimes.
Other times it can feel like it's dragging. Justin says, "Great first podcast." Yay!
Thanks, Justin.
Hey, let's clap. First podcast down. Yes. Yes.
And I got the shirt. Beyond the Boundaries.
I think I'm gonna need one.
There we go. I'll send you one.
Yes. Yes. But I mean, thank you guys for having me on. It's been a fun time hanging out with you guys, and
awesome.
And
you got to make a trip down. You and Kelly, all welcome down. And
I'm definitely down.
A good investigation. So,
well, they're flying right out of the back of the house now, out of Delaware. So, a 10-minute ride.
Super cheap too.
Yeah, it's like $20 or something.
Yeah, like $30 to fly from Delaware from that airport to all the way to actually the closest airport to me is like Sarasota.
Yeah.
So that's like right there, 20 minutes. 15 minutes for like $30. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, we got to make it happen. Let's make this happen. It'll be a weekend trip
for sure. for sure. We have a lot of stuff going on here in Florida. We do want to make a trip out to, so I don't know if you've heard of some of the myths and legends of Florida. So Ocala and the woods there are like known for Florida's Bigfoot called skunk ape, I found. So we're hoping maybe we could make a trip out there one of these days, and maybe I'll do a live from the woods.
That's funny. I did find something weird the other day, and I'll tell you, you'll laugh at this one. I ended up finding out that there's a thing called a cat coon. So raccoon and a cat mixed breeds.
Huh.
Really?
Saw one the other day, and I was like, "What is that?" And it's just literally went down the rabbit hole.
And the person was like, a cocoon, duh.
Yeah, they're like, no, I went down a rabbit hole and I actually found it. I'm like, it's a cocoon. Didn't even think these things existed. It's an actual thing.
So don't tell Mikey, because he'd probably be like, I want it as a pet.
He would.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Another lizard.
Listen, we got enough lizards outside. we're done. But
yeah,
all right,
like I said, thank you guys.
Thank you so much, Chris,
Thanks for coming, Chris.
being our first guest too.
Yes,
and
first.
letting us know the official dates of Darkness in Suburbia, October 5th. Again, everybody, make sure to tune in and follow Chris on United for the Unknown on Facebook, and on TikTok. It's the same thing, United for the Unknown. Anywhere else they can find you? Do you have
I have every social media: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. You name it, I have it. Yeah, well, I can give you somebody else's phone number. I got you though.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but I'm sure this won't be the last. We'll probably have you on again and follow up, see what you're up to and how you're doing.
Yeah, definitely. Well, like I said, thank you guys for having me on. It's been a blast hanging out with you guys. And for those of you guys that haven't followed them, make sure you follow them. Cool people.
Yes.
Actually investigated together before. Yeah.
Thank you.
But thanks again, and hope you guys have a great night, and I'll see you guys soon.
All
right, sounds good, bud.
Bye, guys.
All right, see
Bye,
you.
everybody.